Coast Guard crews have surrounded a sunken vessel in Deep Bay. They're trying to contain the potential for environmental damage. The 18-meter wooden ship is a former fish packer. The Coast Guard had been monitoring the condition of the Bertha G since getting complaints from locals. Turns out those concerns were well-founded because the Bertha G is now at the bottom. CTV's Gord Kurbis has more on the story. He joins us tonight from Courtenay with details. Gord.
Well, Hudson, we've seen several times where derelict vessels have fallen victim to the elements and have sank in our local waterways. Now, what happened last night in Deep Bay is slightly different. The vessel wasn't completely abandoned, so I don't think derelict is the right word, but the end result is the same. Another older vessel that needs to be fished out of the sea. The Coast Guard vessel Cape Coburn pulls into position in Bain Sound. Next to it, a quick response Zodiac. They're both here attending to a vessel that went down sometime last night.
Vessel is about, from my information, about 3/4 sunk. There was a bit of a sheen around it when it was reported to Coast Guard at around 6:30 this morning.
The 18-meter vessel, the Bertha G, had previously been moored at the Deep Bay Marina. CTV News has learned it was evicted from there because of concerns of its seaworthiness. It then anchored outside of the marina. Having to pump water out of it was apparently a common occurrence. And then there was a fire in the boat's cabin this past spring. It appears the vessel finally ran out of luck.
Oh, the boat that bubbled. The boat that bubbled in Deep Bay. It's on the radios constantly on the VHF on 16. They're talking about sunken vessel because it's a navigational hazard because it's just outside the entrance in here.
Bob Baldwin has his boat moored at the marina. He says he often saw the Bertha G being pumped out, but notes that's not unusual for older wooden vessels.
Yeah, her pumps would work all the time, and her pumps, and there'd be, through the stuffing box and things like that, there's always this seepage. Boats are always leaking.
Baldwin understands that the owners had been fixing it up and keeping a regular eye on the Bertha G, but fell behind on maintenance when visitors came into town.
It's an old wooden boat there, fellas that bought up there. I imagine they're making a liveaboard out of her, and they put their time into it, and family comes in and they're not around, and just all it takes.
The Coast Guard had also been monitoring the Bertha G. They'd received calls from people concerned about it.
Certainly we're aware of this vessel. We have been in once or twice to take a look at it and to investigate it further in advance of it sinking. So it's certainly well known to the Coast Guard Environmental Response Group.
Today, those same crews were back, this time putting booms around the sunken vessel, trying to contain anything that might leak out of it. The owners are cooperating with crews. I did some online research and I found that the Bertha G was constructed in 1927 and at one point was considered to be the largest seiner in the waters off of Prince Rupert. Now, like many vessels of that era, it served in the gunboat Navy during the Second World War. But if you look at where it's resting now, it appears that the Battle of Time is something that it couldn't defeat. Speaking with the Coast Guard, they tell me that the owners of the vessel are being responsive and they are working together to try to rectify the situation and get the boat raised out of the water.
All right. Gord Kurbis reporting tonight in Courtenay. Gord, thank you.